All right, so our front calls. We call our reduction. So we're always moving really to an over or under front, guys, in our from our 3-down look. So if we call field and I put up there, it could be in any personnel. I don't care if it's 10, 11, 21, whatever. Our reduction is coming from the field. Right? If we make a boundary call, it's coming from the boundary side. Okay? We made the mistake of calling it bench our first year. Right? So the first time we called bench, the reduction came from the wrong side that I thought it was coming from. I was like, what the hell is going on here? Well, they thought it was our bench. Right? So I had to change that. Right? So I learned, it took about 4 plays and they came off the field and I was like, why in the hell I'm calling bench and they're coming from the, I said, Coach, our bench is over there. I was like, now I get it. Okay? So we made it a boundary call. All right, so that's coming from reduction from the boundary. If we want to call it to the tight end, right? You make an open call or a tight call. The tight call, the reduction is coming from where the tight end lines up. The open call is coming from opposite him. So it doesn't make sense to call this in 12 personnel because they could have them on both sides. So we only use open and tight in 11 or 21 personnel. I have used it when a team is a 12 personnel team and I have identified a blocking tight end compared to a receiving tight end. Right? The receiving tight end is the one that does not want to block anybody. The one that wants to block is the one they're going to run to. So if I want to attack the run and I want to do it coming to that tight end based on personnel, I will do that. Passing strength is to where the most receivers are. If it's 2 by 2, it's where the most stand-up receivers are. And I've got a diagram that'll show that. If I make a formation call, it's from the 2 wide receiver or more. 3 by 1 comes from that side. Right, if I make a weak call, we got to see where the formation is, and then we got to call it opposite. From the back, we see a lot of 10, 11 personnel zone read teams that put that back to the side. Right, so if we want to attack the back, we simply make a bag call. Right? So our reduction is coming to the back, and we make some calls specifically for zone read teams. And I will go over some of that when we get into it later. Box, the reduction is coming opposite the back. So I screwed that up. So box should be reduction is opposite the back. Right? So back opposite. So if you took a picture of that, go through and change that shit. So, all right, we got 2 calls. We got 8 ways to make calls. We got field, boundary, tight, open, bag, box, formation, weak. Right? But the bottom line is either coming from the right side or left side. So our inside linebacker is responsible for making, based on this, I don't make anybody else learn this. Secondary picks it up, but the D-line, they could care less. The D-line is listening for a Ringo or lucky call. Right? And I mentioned earlier, we want to play fast. We call it a snap blitz for those defensive linemen. So all they hear is Ringo, and they're going. Okay. So here's an example of some formations. Here's your 21 formation. All right? In red, if I make a boundary or an open call, I would have a lucky call for me. Our reduction would be coming from the left because the boundary side of the field's here and the tight end is here. So if I make an open call, it's coming opposite the tight end. If I make a field call, there's where the majority of the field is. Right? So if you make a field boundary, you better be careful about making sure the ball is not in the middle of the field. And we call the middle of the field, we split the uprights. So the ball is inside the uprights. I've got a guy up in the box going, ball's in the middle, ball's in the middle. Right? If it's sitting in an upright or over, then that tells me that I can make a field or boundary call if I need to. So field and tight would be a Ringo call in this case because, number one, the field's this way, and the tight end is that way as well. So I take this 2 by 2 formation here. Ball's in the middle of the field, so I can't make a field or boundary call. So if I wanted to make a formation call to the passing strength, even though I got 2 receivers over here and 2 receivers to the left, I'm making it to the 2 stand-ups. If there was a 3rd receiver over here, it's easy. If the 3rd receiver's over here, it's easy. Call it to the 3 receiver side. It's boxed because the back is sitting right here. If I make a weak or a bad call, so I've got to see as the linebacker the formation and call it opposite. If I make a bad call, see where the back lines up and call it to where he lines up. Okay. Now, you see a lot of offensive teams, and I think I say this later, but since I got this drawing up, I do not want the offense dictating to me what I'm doing. Right? How do they do that? Well, They put the tight end on one side, then shift the tight end to the other side. And you see a lot of 4-3 teams, everybody moves, and this guy comes this way, and that guy, because he's an A-gap backer, he's a B-gap backer, he's a C-gap backer, all that kind of stuff. Right? Back moves, or the back changes. You see them, they might change their 3 and their 1 technique to try to mess with them. We don't do any of that. Right? If I have a tight call and the tight end shifts and goes the other side, we stay in our call. And the reason we do that is we got 3 guys with their hands on the ground, and God, I love them to death, but they're not the sharpest tools in the shed. And if I make a field or a tight A call, that guy is Ringo, and it's a right end, he knows I'm running A. I'm running A. As soon as that ball snaps, that's what I'm doing. So if they move the tight end and we try to go lucky, 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 that left end is going, well, I had a 5 technique. What was the call? And he's looking up. Now they're not playing fast. So the guys that have to adjust, and we don't do a whole lot of adjustments, are guys that are standing up and can see what's going on. Right, now we will adjust coverages if it's motion. If we're in a quarters type coverage or a quarter half coverage, and they go from a 2x2 to 3x1, we'll make some coverage adjustments, solo calls and things like that based on the coverages. Right? But if that back moves as well, we don't change our call. Right? It's our job as a coaching staff to understand, what's the percentages of them moving the back or shifting the tight end. And what we have found out, teams that shift the tight end don't see us react or don't see us move, they quit doing that because they're not getting what they want. Or they run a guy in motion and we don't have a guy running with them. They tend to not do that anymore. So now we're dictating to those guys what they can and can't do.